Well, hi folks, meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with Southern Indiana Weather. Thanks for logging on here to my latest video update. We finally got some rain around the area here. Boy, is that a good sight to see. Zooming in here onto the Southern Indiana area, we've got some rain moving through as I'm recording this video around 6 a.m. Eastern Time here on the Wednesday, the 23rd of November 2016. Rain is a beautiful sight to those of us who haven't seen it here in a while. It does look like we got a decent chance for a little rain to move through today. It's not going to be a complete massive soaking, but certainly beneficial rains nonetheless. As I put high-res future radar here into motion, you can see there's the rain as it moves through, and it's going to be a pretty soggy day around the area. It's not going to be an all-day rain all the time. You know, I think there'll be some breaks in this, but by and large we've got a lot to move through. In fact, this is taking us up into the evening hours. This would be 6 o'clock Eastern Time tonight. It's still around 7. Here's 8 o'clock tonight, 9, and it's probably about 9, 10 o'clock tonight before the main system is starting to move away for us. So that's going to be a good soaker today. And if you look just at total rain accumulated here, some beautiful totals here, especially for southwest Indiana, southern Illinois, and on up. Now, if you're over towards the Louisville area, it doesn't look like you're going to get as much here, unfortunately. It's only forecasting about 3/10 of an inch there in Louisville, but 1.2 inches up in Vincennes there, and 0.7 inches there in Evansville. So certainly for some of us, some very beneficial rains coming. We've been dry, and we certainly need that. Let's talk about a little bit more about the long term. The good news is I think the rain is going to start coming back, so that's going to help to ease our drought concerns here in the Midwest that some of us have been seeing. Very active pattern starting to shape up again. It's been a pretty boring pattern here in the fall, but that active pattern is starting to shape up again. So let me back this up here really quickly, and let's get into the details here of the GFS. Here's the system that's rolling through here today. Again, not a ton of rain with it, maybe up to an inch or so, and that would be very beneficial. We'll take anything that we can get at this point. Right now, of course, today is Wednesday. It's a big travel day. It's going to be, pretty wet across the Midwest here. There's some snow up to the north. Not a bad travel day otherwise across the nation here. Turkey Day not looking too bad either. Just a little bit on the cool side. High temperatures, the upper 40s to near 50 here in southern Indiana tomorrow. As high pressure starts to settle in, we'll dry out, so it won't be a bad Turkey Day. There's a little disturbance moving up to our north here on Friday that will need to be monitored for you guys way up towards Michigan. That could bring a little bit of rain or snow possibly mixed in with it. I think that models may be underdoing what the potential there is for it as well. But that won't affect us here in southern Indiana. It's going to be a nice little stretch for a few days of some nice weather until we hit later in the week. And here's Sunday night as we roll in. There's the next storm system moving in. Again, the northern plains going to be hit with some snow here, but for most of us across the heartland here, good little bit of rain moving in again. In fact, this could be a pretty decent little rain producer, and this could be a godsend really here for portions of the south here that are just devastated with rain. In fact, there are some portions down near the south that are devastated so bad that with no rains that they're in single-digit dew points. The relative humidity just bone dry, sort of what you would expect in the desert. There's some pretty decent little rain moving here through southern Indiana. We need it even down in Nashville where it's been pretty dry down there too. Look at this. So this would be to close out the month. And it does look to me like this is probably going to be a rainmaker. I know many of you are snow lovers and are probably disappointed about this. Hang on, we'll talk about snow in a minute, but this is pretty much going to be a rainmaker except for the northern plains where I think you're going to get hammered down with some snow again here. It'll need to be watched. Then as we go on, high pressure settles in for a little bit before the next storm comes in, and this looks like a pretty decent sized little storm to come in here. There probably will be a snow component with this somewhere, but we are so far down the road here that it's going to be hard to tell exactly where it's at. There's a lot of differences in timing on the modeling too, so here the GFS takes this to December 6th. If you go back over here to the Canadian model, the GEM takes this on December the 1st. Same source system showing up, just different interpretations of it. Much wider swath of snow here and a wider swath of rain here on the GEM than you see what it is on the GFS as well. So there's some differences here in the timing on this that will need to be worked out, but nonetheless I do think this one has potential. And as the GFS rotates this out, there's another system on its heels. This one, this particular run wants to take it down towards the south, which would be great for you guys down there. But every run is a little bit different. Some runs take this up a little bit more north. So either way you look at it, though, some very active weather is returning. Some snow returning back to the Pacific Northwest there as well. So it's good. Some active weather times are certainly returning, and that's something, if you watched my winter forecast, I said I expected an active Ohio Valley storm track this winter. That's starting to shape up. That's certainly a good thing then. Indices are going to be conducive, though, for some of these storms to roll through, and especially if I go back to here, and let's just really quickly talk about this storm in potentially as we get into the beginnings of December here. This would be the one that I would watch. This may not be right on the positioning. It may be a little bit too far towards the northwest, and here's the reason why. If we look at the indices, the P&A index going reasonably positive, except towards the end of the period. Some of the measures here are taking it more towards the negative. The Arctic Oscillation staying pretty much firmly in the negative. Where the Arctic Oscillation is Canadian air on the move, so we'd have a cold air supply potential there if we can get some blocking to bring it down. And what are we seeing? Well, the NAO, the blocking around Greenland, going negative, and that's an indication of some blocking for us. That could help to buckle the jet stream, bring that down in. And heretofore, we have not really seen that much. So that could help to cool things down. And another thing that's going in the positive direction is the EPO. You want a negative EPO if you want that air from the Pacific to sort of ease back a little bit and settle down. And we're starting to see it go negative here, in a pretty decent little negative EPO as we head into those first days. And so that all that combines to say this is one that would have my attention more so than the others. I think it's rain on pretty much every other system, but this one does have the potential for something to watch. It's not a guarantee. It's something will be watched. Mild temperatures still going to stick around overall. Seasonable might be a better way to put it. It's not going to be burning up warm around the area. But notice across the nation now, you're going to see that, except for the deep south, the 60s and 70s are going to be pretty much gone as we move through here. Very cold out to the west here, but this is of course up in the mountains. There's also going to be some snowpack laid down here, so you're going to see some cold lay in with that. For those of us here in the Midwest and southern Indiana, especially where I'm forecasting for, 30s and 40s, and an occasional 50 is going to be what we see. In fact, there will be some nice days here where we get up to maybe even the mid-50s around the area, but they'll be replaced with days behind it there into the 40s as well. So it's not going to be an overly warm period for us. Much cooler than we have expected, much cooler than what we saw at the beginning of November with those 80-degree highs. The Indian summer is gone. Now, the Arctic hounds, you're just going to have to wait for that true bitter cold air. It's not going to be here in the next couple of weeks, but it's certainly much cooler than what we've had, and cooler where we are on the borderline. If we get a big storm roll through, you could get some storm-induced cold out of it. That could help to funnel, funnel that cold air down and produce some snow. So there's some potential there. It's nothing set in stone yet. Here's what the GFS thinks as far as the next 240 hours, the next 10 days, snow-wise goes. And you can see there's some pretty decent snows here out in the mountains. Some pretty decent snows up here into the plains as well. Really nothing here for southern Indiana. And so if you are looking at that and saying you want some snow, I understand. Excuse me, folks. Keep in mind, this doesn't go through the system on the 6th, though, either. So it doesn't show anything that would happen with that, although it's showing rain right now. But all of this up here is building a snowpack up to our north. That's going to keep pushing the systems further and further south, potentially, as those low pressures like to ride that snowpack. So the more snowpack we build up in here, the better the December could be down for us. So just keep that in mind. Here's the next. Here's this, taking this out here. This one is the same. This is from Tropical Tidbits. This is from Pivotal Weather, another site. But this is taking it all the way out through the full 16 days on here, and you can see some pretty hefty mountain snows out to our west. Look up here, 60, 80 inches of snow up there, up here in this portion of Canada, British Columbia area here. 100 and, oh, did I see that right? 105 inches there. This is definite heavy mountain snows. But again, this lays a foundation for storms to roll further east, even up in here into the plains over the next, over the next 16 days. Look at the kind of snows that it's laying down in here. Again, nothing for us down here in southern Indiana yet on this model run, but The more you push the heavier snowpack here, the easier it is to get that cold air to start to build up to our north to have available to make those snows later on in December. So that's a good sight to see, a necessary sight to see. There are, by the way, some interesting signs. If you look at the CFS, the Canadian models, the CFS, not the Canadian, excuse me, it's the American climate models. You look at that and you look at snow. This was a few days ago. It's run all the way through 45 days through January the 1st. This is an ensemble. Don't take this as just absolute set in stone, but look at this. Look at how much snowpack it lays down on these different runs across the nation. So the potential is there. The CFS is saying the potential is there for December to be much more active and much more potentially stormy. And even here in southern Indiana, you see some pretty hefty snows down in here, potentially. We're not going to look at specifics yet. It's more the pattern we're looking at here. One more thing, just really quickly, if you pull the CFS model again, just for Christmas week, ho ho ho, could it be a white Christmas? Look at this. One of the runs just going crazy, bonkers here with snow over the Ohio Valley. There's a little bit in that one. There's a little bit in that one, and there's a pretty decent amount in that one. So the ensembles here hinting at something a little bit later on down to the road too. All that to say, December could be fun. So if you're looking for that snow, well, when you're seeing all of this, all the other people get it, but you here in the Midwest right now, just know again, this is laying a foundation for what's to come later in December. And what's coming later in December looks fun in the modeling right now. Active and maybe cooler. That's certainly a switch compared to what we've had the last few years. Remember, the last few years, December has been very toasty. It's been a very mild December, even in the brutal winter where we had the brutal back-to-back two brutal winters that we had a few years ago rather, here in the Midwest and really over much of the nation. December was decently mild, and it was later on. It was backloaded winters. Indications here it may not be a backloaded winter this time. December could get pretty active and pretty fun. We'll see. Just an idea for now. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, folks, at SouthernINWX for more weather information. And by the way, be sure to click subscribe on YouTube. We've now broken 1,000 followers, 1,000 subscribers here on the YouTube videos. Be sure to click subscribe.